So one quick thing I'd like to mention before we start this video is that the AI is still a work in progress and many of the functions have yet to be added. Just want to mention that before we start. In this episode of Bud's Beta Help, I'm going to explain how to use the AI and everything you need to know about it. So first off, to unlock the AI, you need to go to the Military tab, go to Tier 4, Tier up to Tier 4, and that will unlock the Facility AI. Then you're going to have to go to the Software tab, find the Facility AI, and install it. To increase the speed at which you install the AI, you can go to the Technology tab, click on any server you have, or buy another server, and then click on the CPU. This increases research speed. For actual upgrading, I would recommend to get 2 servers, 2 or 3 servers, and upgrade the CPUs as much as you can on each one of them. Try and balance it out between all of them equally. Once you have the Facility AI unlocked in research, you just need to go to the Facility AI tab, and here you can actually start making scripts. To actually use the scripts that you program, you're going to have to press F4 to start, to open the AI overlay. Here it will show you all active running scripts, and will also show you what your global variables are, and how much they equal. Let's turn on script quickly. You can see I have 2 things running. You can see the line that they are on, the name of the scripts, and I have 1 global variable. To start making scripts, you just need new. I'm going to name your script. I'm just going to call it testing right for now, and you can just click save. Scroll down to the bottom, and you'll have the script named testing, or whatever you just named it. Once you actually start programming it, you just click program. Alright, so for actual programming, we have 3 different things here. You have your impulses, you have your conditions, and you have your actions. I'll talk more about those in a bit. To increase the max amount of these that you can have on a single script, you just need to upgrade your RAM inside of your servers. The more RAM, the more lines you can have. To start off, I'm going to talk about impulses. We have a couple different impulses. First we have wake up, which is whenever you open the AI overlay, it will start this script. Then you have open mine, or open factory, open power plant, open workshop, and open museum. These just run whenever you open that building. And keys 0 through 9 is just whenever you press the number keys on your keyboard. To start off our script, we're going to need to choose a impulse. I'm just going to use key 9 so I can just have hotkey to activate it. And okay, now we have an impulse. Next we have conditions, which apply starting conditions which must be met in order for your impulse to actually activate your script. You have some condition that says only execute if like current building is factory, then if you press 9 outside of the factory, it will never actually activate this script. To actually go through the conditions, I'm going to start off with museum fill inventory because it's the simplest. What it does is return true or false depending on if the fill inventory button is enabled inside the museum. Next we have the 4 different variable types. Start off with strings. It just compares 2 different strings, which a string is just any string of characters or numbers or anything, and you get to choose what those are specifically. I'm not going to go too much detail with those for now. Next we have doubles, which are just any number, such as like whole number, decimal, or anything like that. Next we have integers, which are just whole numbers. Works if ever you specifically need a whole number of something. So for instance, like the amount of items inside of a stack in the factory. Since you're never going to have a decimal of an item, it's best to use this. Lastly, we have bools, which are just binary numbers. They're true, which are basically just true or falses. Museum fill inventory state is a bool. It is either on or off. There's no other values it can be. I've gone through the conditions. I'm just going to make a basic thing that if the museum fill inventory is true, then it'll run the script, else it won't. This will be useful if you're trying to make something that like buys power stones from the museum. Not particularly useful in the script, but I'm just using it as an example. That's for the impulses and the conditions. Lastly, we have actions. These are the actual programming part of this. To start off with, I'm going to go through all the basic components for all of these ones. At the very top we have a go to, which just means that when we reach this line in the script, then it will go to whatever line that we type in. For instance, I could tell it that go to line 20. I just put some filler lines here. I can go make it so this goes line 2, line 2. So this is line 1, you have line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5, line 6, and so on. Line 2, I'm going to make it go to line 5. Line 5 will go to line 3. Line 3 will go to line 6. And line 6 will go to line 4, with line 4 going back to line 1. If you put in a negative value for this, then it will just be rounded to 0. I really just use an example of how I actually use this script. I'm just going to go to the museum, because this is where the actual condition is. Right now, fiddle inventory is true. So if I press the hotkey of 9, you see my script, but it's jumping between random lines. It doesn't do anything else. If I turn it off, the script will still be running, but I can't activate any more of them if I press the hotkey. If I turn it back on, I can press it, and easily get much more. So as long as fiddle inventory is on, when I press the key, we'll do this, and just randomly jump through lines without ever ending. Now if I change this so that instead of 4 going to line 1, I can make line 4 go to line 7, which doesn't exist, and I can just make line 7 just click at current mouse position. Now, whenever I press it, I have a slight delay, and it does a click for me. Very useless, but I have a click button that only works if this is turned on. If I just put a go to line, for instance, that it'll go to line 1, this will never end because it'll start at line 1, go to line 2, line 2 will tell it to go back to line 1, it'll run this, and go back to line 2, and just repeat endlessly. Now I just have a basic auto clicker. So next on our list we have go to if, which just you can tell it to go to a line number, like go to line 3 if, for instance, person bool is inventory is true. That's just going to click at current mouse position. We'll go to line 3 if current fill state is true. Then at line 2, I'm going to tell just to go to line 4. Use these arrows to move your lines around. You don't have to delete them every time. And then line 4 will just be a go to line 1. I have a simple endless repeating loop that will just click at my current mouse position as long as the inventory is true. So if I press it, it's just clicking endlessly. The more I turn this off, it'll stop clicking. Turn it back on. It'll actually allow me to combine thing. But the more I mouse over the fill inventory, I'll turn it off and it'll just no longer buy anymore. That's how you use the go to if. So next on our list is a basic click, which you can click at specific coordinates, which you can find by pressing F2 to open the debug overlay. And just mousing around tell you up here where your X and Y coordinates are. If I want to click this button specifically, I would just have to look at 960, 250. Now, this line would click at that coordinate. You can also click at current mouse position, which will just automatically adjust as you move your mouse around. Great for making a super fast auto clicker. Or you can either use 2 different variables or functions and math to actually get your actual location. The next action on our list is basic wait, which you just put a number and it waits that many seconds. Or you can make it refer to a variable. I just gain the name of whatever variable is. So I had a global variable named test. And just wait that many seconds. I haven't yet gone to variables, I'll get to that later on. I'll put you more in depth on how I should use those. On our list is wait until, which is where you just wait until set comparison equals true. For instance, I can just have so that museum fill inventory comparison rule of museum fill inventory equals true. Next, we have basic execute. Well, the basic wait while, which is just like the wait until except in reverse. It's just the inverse of with a wait until. So we have basic execute, execute sync, and stop. These 3 are going to be put together for later when we actually start making actual scripts. global variables and the local variables. I'm going to get into those later too. I'm going to continue going on with simple action scripts. So next we have tower use instant. This just uses abilities, so for instance, I can just tell to use the first ability. Actually I have a script to show this. I'll go here, I just have this. Uses each ability in 1, 2, 3, and 4, then goes line 1 again. It endlessly loops that with the hotkey of 0. And then one right above it, I have a delay, which I was using this for using my foci, since I want to have always one running at a time. So I just would wait about 7 seconds and activate the next one, and it would just keep looping. A little bit more complicated, I'm not going to get into that right now. If I go and just run a new round, I can just show my 3 different abilities. Press 0, AI then press 0, it'll just instantly use my abilities, always. Which is very nice, quite convenient. I'll have my focus at every 7 seconds, it switches to activate the next one on my list. I'll just loop through all those. Next on our list after use instantly is mine dig and mine layer. These ones are specifically used for the mine, same with the factory, the power plant, and the museum lines. Start with the mine. Whenever the AI gets to this line, it'll just go dig in tile 00, which is the top left corner. So line 00 is going to mine this tile of the mine. Generate a new layer just basically means when we reach that line, it just clicks the spawn essentially. Next, if I just set up something basic, I'm just going to make it so it generates a new layer. I'm going to dig tile 00, 1, 1. This works on like an XY coordinate plane. I'm just going to dig these. 3, 3 should be the bottom right corner. This will be the one in that's over, one down, one from top left, or the middle upper left. This one will be the lower middle left. This will be the bottom right corner. Now if I do this, I can just open the eye, press 9, it will generate a new layer, and it'll mine these 3 tiles diagonally. If I wanted to add one for every single coordinate, now I could just make a button that I press and just generate a new layer, automatically mines it all. Next we get to factory try craft, which starts off, it will try to craft whatever this item they choose. I'm going to just choose, for instance, an ore lump. This is the tier, the middle number. Try to craft a tier 9 lump, and then it will try to craft this number of them. So I can just say, I make 70 tier 9 lumps. I have the stuff for it. Now if I go into the factory, and I just press my 9 key, it'll just take the resources, give me 70 lumps. This will trap 70 tier 9 ore lumps. I'm going to do by produce. I'm going to tell it to put the 70 lumps I just made of the tier 9 variant. I'm going to tell it to put it into the mixer. And I press it, it will automatically take that, we'll craft 70 tier 9 ore lumps into the mixer. And I'm going to have it go to line 1 again. And it will infinitely repeat this. And of course, it still have the current fill save of the museum. I'll make sure to remove now. Now, if I stop crafting that, I can now press 9 to automatically put ever crafted in increasing amounts of ore lumps into the mixer. That's how you do basic crafting. You could do more full advanced crafting things, such as craft all different components to make a motor. That way if you press a button it makes a motor. And if you made a big enough script array, you could eventually make one that you press a button and it makes an exotic producer automatically, which would look cool. I'm going to do that later. Next, we have power plant cell, which just sells power plant, which is kind of like the mine, except it starts with the bottom left, not the top left. The 00 is the bottom corner of the grid. If I told to like cell in coordinates this is, which is going to be 1 on the x-axis is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8x, and 1, 2, 3, 4y. Sold 8x, 4y, then when I press it, it'll just automatically sell this. X or Y. Now if I press 9, it just sells the component in that coordinate. So if I put there, you're going to just press key, auto sell it. Convenient. You can actually use this to fully automate the power plant, which I could show, but my script I have actually only works inside of not full screen. I'm not going to show that here. So, now we're on to the last 6 components other than the variables and the execute, which are used for advanced scripts. Now we go on to the museum of script lines. First we have the fill inventory, which just sets the fill inventory state. So you can use this to just set to true, and then you just basically turn on the fill inventory button. Very basic. Next we have museum combine, which whenever it reaches this line, it just clicks the combine button inside of the museum. We have museum buy, which buys power stones with the element of whatever element, or you can go to museum power stone element of inventory slot 0. This will buy whatever power stone type you have in your first slot, and it will just combine it. I'm also going to make it so that it starts off. That's the fill inventory group at the top. Now just grab a basic go to command. Just go to line 2. I close out. I come in here. Power stones by a single red power stone. When I press my hotkey, I'll automatically have a script that makes power stones. When I get faster, I can just press it more times. The more I have, the faster it runs. Very simple museum script. That can easily be customized by just a different slot, different power stone in slot 0. Press the wrong key. Now it's buying blue power stones, but my inventory is a mess now. I'm gonna have fun cleaning this up. Next action, we have the museum transmute, which works like the combine, except once you have to actually click in all the different, clicking all the power stones into the Cubos cube. Then you actually run. Then you run this. It'll give you the universal power stone. That's what the transmute does. Next we have move, which is how you actually get in there, unless without doing normal things. You can move from inventory slot 0 into Cubos cube, and it'll just automatically put it in there in the right slot. Which I can quickly throw together a automatic tier 1 universal script. Now we buy every element, we move them all into the Cubos cube. Now we just need to transmute. I'm gonna make it so it moves from inventory slot 0 because that's where it's going to be put. I'm gonna move this into inventory. And there we go. Now we should have a basic script that creates 1 universal power stone. See a problem here. Now if we press 9, you get automatically a bunch of tier 1 universal power stones. I don't know how useful this is, but we have it. So there. That's a relatively simple tier 1 universal power stone creating script. Not much more to it. So next on our list we just have museum delete, which just deletes power stone in wherever slot you choose. Nothing else really to say on it, just use a slot and it will just delete that power stone whenever it reaches that line. So next on our list, we're going to move to the execute, sync, and the stop. So the execute, I just set this to execute, and this is going to be a string containing the name of whatever you want to execute. I'm just going to call it, I'm just going to tell it to execute testing, current script name, and it's going to set a global integer. I'm just going to name testing to equal. I'm going to explain this a bit later. I'm just going to quickly put it together to show. This is just going to set testing to equal testing plus 1. We're just going to add 1 to testing each time. And I'm going to make it so that it just ends there. Now if I run this, I'll put a wait for 0.5 seconds. We're going to tell us to wait for a bit. Now every 0.5 seconds, it will start another script. It will wait 0.5 seconds. Like every 0.5 seconds, it will start a new script. That will wait 0.5 seconds before starting another script, and so on. And then it will set testing to equal testing plus 1, and it will end itself. Now we'll go back to waiting. This will slowly just add more and more lines quickly. We'll turn off the AI because it has a limit of 100 scripts that can be active at any moment. So now to edit this quickly, instead going to put this to be an execute sync, which will wait for the whatever script I execute to finish, and then it will go continue on this one. So it's just going to basically wait while the other script is running, then it will start this one. I'll tell this to run testing, and since this will never actually allow testing to be completed, you should never see this set global to ever be set to 1. That every 0.5 seconds it'll just execute another one. I'll just wait until an infinite chain completes. Eventually it's just going to close the AI, but there is potential for using this for me to have a script that goes into the power plant, and executes my power plant script, which would sell these, then it would replace them, then it would also run my boosts, whatever I need to do. Then the power plant script would stop. And my previous script that I used to start the power plant script didn't start running again because the power plant script finished. And I could make it so that was exits, and switches to mine, runs, just tells it to execute my mine script, and wait until my mine script is done. And I'll exit, move to the next building, and whatever. I can set up a full loop to do whatever I need. So next on my list is the basic stop, which this is whenever you reach this line, it will stop all scripts that are named whatever. So I call this, it tells you to stop all scripts names testing. Then I could put a loop that I could do like an infinite loop or whatever, and whenever I need it, it would just stop all of it. A good example of a script like this is my click script. Here I have a basic script that just goes line 5 if my click count is greater than 0. Otherwise, it will execute script click, which is just consistent of the very intelligent thing of add 1 to the global click count, basically, the global variable of click count. And it's just going to click at mouse position a bunch of times, and then go back to line 2 and just repeat that infinitely. It's an auto clicker. My click script, then I have it so that it will execute script click, and it'll go back to line 2 if click count is less than 99. So we'll make it so it runs up to the limit without ever actually reaching it. If I just run this for a bit, you'll see my click count will slowly climb. You can just see the endless line of click scripts on the side. It does get laggy towards the end. But after that, the click count reaches 99, it will stop looping, and it'll stop all scripts named this. So basically just stop itself. If I do have any clicks running when I run it, allow me to press the key again, and it'll just go reset. I just use this simple script to be the ultimate mega click. You have to like a bazillion clicks per second for mass upgrading things. I find it madly convenient. That's how you can use the execute sync, and the stop scripts to make something basic. Now we actually get to the more complex stuff of variables. I've already discussed the different variables and what they do. Doubles are integers with decimal places, and integers are just standard integers, any whole number. That doesn't support decimal places. A good thing about using variables is any other script can basically call upon them. For instance, my mine dig, I can tell it to, instead of dig at set coordinate, I can tell it to dig at the global get integer. It will just find the integer named, for instance, mine. It will dig at that x, and then dig at wherever the global mine variable is. If I just get a global set integer, mine to equal whatever I want. I can just tell this to equal 3. And this will just dig at tile mine, which will be 3x and 0y. By changing this, we can change all variables that call upon the global variable mine. The difference between global variables and local variables is global variables, for one, actually show up on the side, and they also apply to all scripts. But local variables, for instance, if I made this a local variable of mine to equal 0.0, then if I had a different script somewhere else that called upon mine, it wouldn't find this value, it would look for a global integer. Local variables only apply for this script, and only this script can call upon. But if another script tries to find it, it won't be able to find it. It won't find anything. That's all for this episode. In my next episode, I will cover how to actually create a full mine AI script. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe, I think. That's what people say, right? And well, I'll just leave you with these. That can easily be customized by just a different slot, different power stone in slot 0. On key. Now it's buying blue power stones, but my inventory's a mess now. Have fun cleaning this up. Oh, this on this tier 40. Yes, I am very closer player. Forgot about that. I'm gonna put these here to casually flex on everyone. I'll put all this stuff at the end of the video. Funny.